Hey kitty kitties, what up, what up? Welcome to Primal Scream. This is your host, Nick Graystone. For the next hour, we're going to talk about fantasy, reality, and everything in between. Let's go.
Hello, kitty kitties. You have to excuse me because I am late to the draw. Because Tony decided to go on time and I'm not ready. But, well, it's okay. I fuck up from now and then. But that's the thing about going live. You can fuck up when you are going live. Welcome to another episode of Primal Scream. I'm Nick Graystone. Nick Graystone. That's right. I am in his house. Belmore is in his house today. It's going to be an awesome show. I will bring out my special guests in a little bit. And I just wanted to do a little recap of the week. So, starting off with, I want to wish a very happy birthday, a 53rd birthday, to the lovely Christina Applegate. Usually we talk about deaths on this show a lot, but it's very rare we do give birthday shout-outs. But I wanted to give a special shout-out to her because she was definitely one of my first crushes back in the day as Kelly Bundy. She still looks great. So, Christina Applegate, wherever you are, in the words of PM Dawn, happy birthday, girl. I don't think they said that, though, but I did. But now getting back to the deaths thing. Yesterday, there was a death of a TV icon, Chuck Woolery, 83 years old. Now, I had no idea that Chuck Woolery was the original host of Wheel of Fortune from 1975 to 1981. I guess, I don't know, like, Tony, do you remember Wheel of Fortune back in that era?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
But, like, it wasn't, like, big. Like, it was just Chuck Woolery? It wasn't Vanna White? No Vanna?
No, there was a girl, but it wasn't Vanna.
Oh, so.
I don't know who it was.
Yeah, so it doesn't count, really, right?
It doesn't count?
Was it the same concept?
It actually started out different, and then they changed it along the way. Well, yeah, they say-jacked it, yes.
Yeah, because, like, I feel like the show really didn't go into its, like, crazy popularity until,
That would be correct.
Pat Sajak and then,
Sure.
Vanna White.
You're right,
The
yeah.
Vanna White. Vanna White? The Vanna White? She was so beautiful and hot, but...
She still is.
She is, right?
Yeah.
What is she doing now? Nothing?
She's still on Wheel of Fortune.
Who's the host now?
It's, what's his name?
Seacrest?
Yes.
Dude, what the fuck, man? That
That
guy,
guy's
like,
everywhere.
signed the deal with the devil.
Yes.
He's like fucking, like, dude, if you're old and you're in television, he's like the substance. Like, he's
no
walking
different than
around
Dick
with,
Clark.
like...
Dick
yeah.
Clark did the same thing.
Did he kill Dick Clark?
Yes.
And he brought the fucking Kardashians, too.
See, now, if you kill Seacrest, you'll be on Wheel of Fortune. That's how this works.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, American Idol.
Yeah.
Dick Clark.
That Kelly Ripa.
He's Rippin' Ripper?
Well, he was on that show. He replaced Regis, remember?
Jesus, really?
No, not Jesus. Regis.
No, should be. Jesus Seacrest. The seas have parted.
He's not replacing Jesus. I'm not taking those phone calls.
Bro, he is, bro. He is. I'm telling you, man. He's he's next. I bet you Trump, he gets assassinated, he's going to be the next fucking president. He should just run for president.
He should.
Right? It
Yeah.
could be like a fucking American Idol episode. We'll get back with the results. Well, anyway, 2-2, Chuck Woolery. Rest in peace, sir. I'm not going to get into your politics. That's not my thing, but I did hear in his latter years, Chuck Woolery wasn't as cool as he was back in the day. But again, that's another show and another time, and I'm going to stay in my lane and not talk that nonsense. So play it safe. All right. What else did I want to talk about? Kevin Smith. So yesterday, or a couple days ago, Kevin Smith, in the last couple of weeks, he got the rights back to Dogma. So I guess Harvey Weinstein signed it back over to him, or the Weinstein brothers or whatever. So now he says he hasn't really written a Dogma 2, but he's like going through the motions and the ideas of making Dogma 2. But that's not why I'm talking about it. Kevin Smith just announced that after the next Jay and Silent Bob, he is going to make Moose Jaws, and I am so fucking excited. Moose Jaws, I mean, it basically describes itself. It's basically Jaws, but in Canada, with a moose as the shark. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait for it. This picture, like, probably takes place in like in 80s or 90s Canada, people smoking weed, getting ripped apart by like this crazy fucking moose. And like, it's going to be awesome, and I'm sure Jay and Silent Bob are going to be in it, and it's going to be a classic. So I'm looking forward to that. Kevin Smith, I love you long time, and I can't wait to watch that on the big screen. Speaking watching also, this week I watched Return of the King, the 1968 comeback special of Elvis. So they basically talk about like how big that that special was like at the time. Elvis had gone off to war and then he came back and he did this, and I gotta say, I got emotional during watching it. Like, I teared up because first of all, I think about my dad when I think about Elvis. But then, like, the guy that was getting interviewed during it, they have, like, Priscilla Presley. And then I forget the other guy that was talking about it. But he was like, this is like the crossroads of Elvis's life, because you watch this and it's he's like at the peak. He's like in the best shape. He's like doing his, singing the songs. He sounds awesome. And then over the course of the next couple of years after this, is where you start to see, like, basically Elvis going into his latter years and stuff and ultimately, dying young. And it's sad, you're seeing somebody in such command of the stage or whatever. There's a song that he does in it, If I Had a Dream, and I watched it a couple of times, and I just get the emotions, like the raw emotions of like he had during that performance. It's kind of like watching like Freddie Mercury during Live Aid. It was just like that fucking power. So if you guys are Elvis fans out there, definitely check out Return of the King. It's on Netflix. All right. I think there's one more thing that I have to talk about. That's right, the Menendez boys. I had to write this because I just came out today. So basically today they had, I don't know what the outcome of it yet was. I don't know what time they were supposed to go into court, but it was a virtual meeting. Basically there's a petition right now to reverse their sentence, and the petition included evidence intended to bolster their claims that they suffered sexual abuse at the hands of their father. A judge will weigh those claims at this hearing, which is to be held today in L.A. The judge could also potentially grant the brothers release immediately, but it's also possible he takes time to consider the request. The hearing regarding a separate resentencing is scheduled for December 11th. So the L.A. District Attorney, George Gassion, said in October that he would recommend that the brothers be resentenced to 50 years to life with the possibility of making parole. So right now they are serving 50 to life without the possibility of parole. But because they are model citizens in jail right now, they're putting their best foot forward. They're kind of like doing programs with abused people in jail. I'm sure they both found the Jesus, the things that, you have to do when you're in jail to make yourself a model prisoner, kind of like Leslie Van Houten, who's one of the Manson girls. She got paroled early. So I don't know. We live in a crazy world right now, and I could actually see these two getting out and making millions of dollars on books and all that shit. And, who knows? Maybe be a guest on the Primal Scream show.
The Menendez brothers resentencing pushed back to January.
Ah, really? Well, yep. All right. Well, I don't know.
So they'll be on the show in time for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that'd be so great. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I guess they deserve their day in court, even though they've were in court so much during the 90s or whatever. Is it right to kill your parents? No, but I mean, I don't know. Can you say that they were sexually, touched during the whole course of their life by their dad? You can't say if it's true or not. Yes, they spent money like an asshole, but I don't know. Maybe they're sorry now. We'll see. We will see. This world is crazy, and I'm eating my popcorn, watching it all unravel for the big event. Anyway, speaking of crazy, the show must go on with my two guests. I'm so excited. Like I said before, Belmore in the house. I'm very, very excited to bring on Dave Jamott and Frank Fusco. Guys, how you guys doing today?
Thank you for having us, Nick.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for
follow up the Menendez brothers.
Yeah, they're better looking than us.
That's up for debate. I don't think so. I don't know. Depends. It's all smoke and mirrors. I don't know. Maybe not now. Maybe then.
Then.
But I don't know.
But then again,
you two back
in the
day,
80s, Frank and I, we didn't have any issues.
No. You guys were sex symbols back in the 80s. And now, I think. I don't know. I can't talk like that. I don't want to talk weird about you guys.
Everyone else does.
Right. So, guys, I'm very excited because you've just released this album. It's kind of like I was surprised to see it. All you guys know that Dave was in this awesome band back in the day out of Belmore, the Eggplant Queens. And since then, really hasn't released anything musically until this point, right?
Yeah, I haven't done anything in about 9 years.
Wow. So tell me about the project. How did this all become about?
So after Eggplant Queens after I had enough of Eggplant Queens, I just went about my life, kids, this, that, working. But I always have songs in my head. Like, I'm constantly writing songs in my head, but I can't play an instrument and I can't write music. So these songs are building up. So then Frank, about 3 years ago, first he was over my house for a block party and he mentioned something. And then a few months later, we went to go see Beck together and we were having some beers at the bar before. And he said, "Hey, did you ever think about doing music again?" And I said, "Well, I have songs in my head that I can't get out." And he said, "Well, I could help you with that." And I'm like, "Well, how are we going to do this?" He goes, "Just sing into your phone and send them to me." And that's literally what I did. Like a week later, I sang "Boom Boom Boom," the first song, the first track on the record. And that's how it happened.
And those are pretty much the only lyrics. So it's like, all right, I see what this is like. This is like an anything goes kind of project. So Boom 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 was the first, and it set the tone for the rest of it.
So basically, you're laying down ideas through voice memo and through text for the majority of the album.
The entire album.
The whole entire album.
So everything started with Dave singing into his phone, sending me lyrics.
So
then I would take that and listen to it, just a cappella for a while, and then put music to it.
Wow.
Yeah. I never write like that.
No.
I mean, you're a musician. Most people write the music first, and then lyrics come second. But
honestly, you know what? It does remind me of how Demon Scar started, the band that I'm in now. I had lyrics. I had sent them to my guitarist. The day later, he had chords, and he was like, "Do you think your lyrics can fit into these chords?" And that's how we wrote our first EP, by him doing it the other way around. Him sending me chords, and then I would write lyrics to it.
When I was
so this is backward, like what
right.
you guys are doing.
So when I was in Rat Bastard, another Belmore band, 9 out of 10 times I would sing a song, and the guys in the band could take it. Like, so if I had a song that was like, the song goes boom, 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 they would come back and go boom, boom, boom. When I was with Eggplant Queens, I would say, all right, the song goes boom, 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 and they would come back, and like, I was like, oh, fuck. So with Eggplant Queens, they would make music, and then I would write words to it. Or I'd have words and see if they fit. But with Frank, I would just sing what was ever in my head. And he would come back and go, what do you think about this? And I don't think once I ever said no.
No, you gave me free.
I think everything that came back, I was like, he's hearing what's in my fucking head. So
Well,
that
you
worked
guys
out.
knew each other for so long, so you have similar musical tastes.
We're same age around, so we all come from that punk hardcore background.
Frank was reminding me that we were actually in a band together 37 years ago for one practice.
Yeah.
That was it.
We tried to get together.
Yeah.
And we would call PGS, Parental Guidance Suggested. We had a name.
There were a lot of punk hardcore bands back then with 3 initials. You got
JFA.
NBC, GBH,
Yes, JFA,
DOA,
yes,
SOD.
PGS.
you know.
Parental
So
Guidance
we
Suggested.
did that, and we wrote one song called "Nursery School." You remember that?
I don't even remember. I had only
Nursery
been playing
school.
guitar for 2 months, so I should not
who
have
was-
even been in a
Eric
band.
Hoffman was on drums. Who played bass? Do we have a bass player?
Jim Mancuso.
Oh my
And then
god!
Steve Zielinski also on guitar. And both Steve and I had only been playing for two months. We were horrible. The only good player was Eric.
Right. So the song was Nursery School. 4-year-old kids get you hot, defenseless kid. You only shot. Your mom's not there, so now's your chance to get into that kiddie's pants. In all your wet dreams, you orgasm the children screams. What the hell is wrong with you? Everyone is a fool. It's just the dark side of Nursery School.
I don't know how you remember
That's
that.
the fucking song.
Wow.
Holy shit.
That's
but
amazing.
that's probably the first time it's ever been sung the whole way through because I think we were just that bad. We knew that day we were not doing this.
Wow.
So yeah,
That
was
song
one
has been
practice.
in a file cabinet back there.
so
yeah.
that has
in
to be
there.
on the second album now.
I actually considered saying we should do that song, but I was like,
It's a
that
little,
time has
you know.
passed.
Well, one of the reasons Eggplant Queens the guys in Eggplant Queens through the years, Dave, let's get back together, let's do a show. And like I said with Frank and stuff like that, it's like it's not so much doing the show, it's the practice, like the rehearsals. I work nights. These guys have 9-to-5 jobs. Like it's
Yeah.
like we're not on the same schedule. And also with Eggplant Queens, I told them, I said, I'm in my 50s. I have 4 kids. I don't want to sing songs about angel dust and vinyl vagina anymore. And then Michael Walsh
I want to hear it.
Then Michael Walsh goes, I only want to write songs about angel dust and vinyl vagina.
So it's safe to say we'll never see Eggplant Queens ever again.
I have no interest in it. Zero. There's there's personality conflicts that some of the guys in the band, you know.
I hear you.
Steve
Just-
Johnson's
that's a long
got his own
time.
thing now.
Yeah,
He's-
Steve, my bass player, is playing drums on a band that's actually releasing vinyl and doing
yeah,
stuff,
they're
and
pretty good.
you know, and yeah. So I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
Yeah, if you guys never heard of Eggplant Queens, check them out. They're on YouTube. The way that I could describe it, it's like a hardcore Beastie Boys with punk elements in it.
3 singers.
3 singers,
Trading off
just off the wall shit going on. You know, you had.
Frank actually made videos.
Well, it was for a movie.
You know,
Yeah.
for Eggplant
Speaking
Queens.
of which, the Belmore Unseen. If you guys have not seen it, Frank, you directed it.
I was the director.
All right, yeah. So this is like basically it's Belmore's version of the decline of Western civilization,
That's exactly
That's
what
good.
it is.
right?
Yep.
So like you get to see a music scene really in the city limits of Belmore, and there's so many characters and so many different stories going around, and like it's so cool to see like what came about of it. Like, did you ever think that you would revisit that, maybe make another like sequel to that? Like,
I don't think so because that was a little bit like the last hurrah of the scene. We were all in our 30s at that point, and after that, after all those bands broke up, there really wasn't much. I mean, I've been playing music on the side, but it wasn't. There's no scene, and you know, a lot of people say there wasn't a scene back then either. So
There was an unseen.
yeah,
it was the unseen.
But I thought because it's the 20-year anniversary,
Have a
right,
screening
So
of
I was
it.
thinking of a screening,
Yeah,
of like
so
possibly.
I made it with Jim Muscarella was a producer on it. So we talked about doing a 20-year anniversary show, like, you know, airing screening, but it kind of fell through. But maybe 25 years. We'll do it.
Yeah, dude, do it at the Itch. You know, like it's still there.
Dave Jamont Loves You will open up.
Dude, absolutely. Maybe the final Eggplant Queen show could go down.
Everybody has a price.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. You can never say never,
Never say never.
because even just today, Paul Stanley said that Kiss might actually do another show.
Shocking.
Right?
Wow. Well, I never really bought that they were done totally. Touring, I think, yes.
Yes, touring like that.
One-off shows, they'll do it.
I'm thinking that they would probably do like a residency.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. Yeah.
You know?
Go to the Sphere, do a
I
residency.
was at that last show.
Me too.
It was amazing, but also disappointing because it was the same exact set list they've been doing for the last
They didn't
10,
do
20
anything new.
years. No, it was all the standard stuff. So I was a little disappointed, but I was also very happy to see them, for the last time.
Yeah, no, I brought my kid. My mom brought me to my first Kiss show, so I brought Zozo. We dressed up as Ace and Peter, and it was cool, man. Like it's just like kind of like the passing of the torch. Yeah. Kiss has always been there, so like every time they say it's final, I'm like, all right. Even though it's a little bit more money because, ticket prices only continue to go higher, I'm going to do it.
Well, we won't see Ace and Peter back in that.
No, I think that
Vinnie Vincent?
that ship
Any
is
Vinnie Vincent?
Vinnie Vincent.
The Ankh.
They had something with him at some Kiss convention, I believe in Cincinnati, and he played with Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer, and basically what he did was he stood on this like platform, and he didn't let anyone else near him, and they just rose him up. He played, and then they rose him down, and then he left, and he didn't have any interaction with anybody. The guy could still shred, but he's always been nuts.
Yeah,
He's a crackpot or whatever.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I have all right. So I talked about the decline of Western civilization too, about the sequel. Okay, and you did the future of the Eggplant Queens. So now, like going into this project you guys are doing, what are some of your big influences that you feel like are coming out with this? Like you listen to it and you try to explain it to somebody.
I tell people every track is a different band. It's definitely unified, but two songs are completely different. Like the songs are all over the place, but that's how I hear stuff in my head. And that's why I was glad when Frank said that he could help me out, because in the past, like I couldn't do things like that with the other bands. So it's just I played it for a guy that the program director of WLIR.
Okay.
And he really liked it. He actually is playing Boom 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 on the LIR like internet radio show, whatever, LIR.net or whatever it is. And he said, "This is the future of alternative music." And I said, "I like that."
Yeah, that's awesome.
And like I tell people, so like some people that I know that only know me as a bartender or like a guy from around, when I told them I put an album out, they didn't know what to expect, and a lot of them thought it was going to be like a punk or a loud, noisy thing, and it's blowing a lot of people's minds that the finished product.
I like to say it's punk rock glam, because I have a love for glam rock back in the 70s, like Sweet and of course the big names like Bowie and the Ziggy stuff and T-Rex, but like I like all that junk shop glam stuff like that, where it's just like singles, people putting out one song that you never hear from again.
Yeah.
So I kind of mix that with punk and rock. And I think
like Sylvain's album, like his solo album, something like that.
I don't know who's Sylvain.
From Sylvain from the New York Dolls.
Oh,
yeah, like he kind of like went that way, like Johnny Thunders too, like when they released their solo stuff.
I mean, that stuff is pretty glam.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I mean, like the first Motley Crue album has that glam.
Yeah, those first two albums I love.
The Crue albums.
Yeah, they're so raw.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more as like the Too Fast for Love is more glam, and then they get into the metal part for Shout at the Devil. But if you listen to that first one, you hear the influences of, the New York Dolls and T-Rex and all that, and I love that. I love that first record. I think it's
I was
like you
I was
said,
an extra in a movie with David Johansen.
Really?
Yeah. who the hell is it? The guy from Rocky.
Paul Young?
Yes, Paul Young was in it. Yeah. And I was an extra. I'm like just like looking over the police lines and stuff like that.
That's awesome. What movie?
Crooked Lines. It's called Crooked Lines.
Crooked Lines?
Yeah, it's out there. Like it's on Amazon and everything.
What was the premise of the movie?
There's a murder and some people get mixed up in who they get blamed for it, but it's not there. They didn't do it and stuff. And David Johansen was the cop that was like trying to investigate the murder and stuff like that. So, Scotty Jacobs was an extra. One of the other Belmore guys was an extra in it with me. Yeah.
Was he Buster Poindexter in it? Or was
No, he was David Johansen. I sat down when we broke for lunch. I was sitting down with him, and he was just like the sweetest, coolest, nicest guy. I didn't mention anything about the dolls or anything like that. I just talked to him about like whatever was going on that
he's
day.
tired.
I don't think he likes the dolls too much to like talk about it, you know? He anytime they've ever like reunited or whatever, like it's just like, oh yeah, I'll do it, but you know, like,
Yeah, I saw them one time, like when they reunited, and it is what it was. Like,
yeah. I saw him with Earl Slick on guitar.
Oh shit.
That was at the Bowery Ballroom. It was a great show, you know, like that album that they did it for was I think it was called Dancing with Heels Backwards or something. I think it was the last album that they did. It was great. You know, they did like all the classics and stuff, and that album's pretty good. I like it. But, you know, they're not going to do it now. I mean, Sylvain passed, and now, like, you know, Johansen's left. I don't even know. Did they just get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I don't think they ever will be.
No?
Was it even?
I mean, Maiden's not in, so why would how would they get in?
Yeah, but there's a bunch of wacky people in that thing.
You can't even go by like
rock.
who gets in now,
Right.
you know? It's so weird. Like you said, Maiden's not in it. Priest's not in it. Oh, Priest is in it. They just got inducted. But Motorhead, you know, like all these like huge bands.
Influential bands, and then bands that have
Yeah.
only been around 25 years
They get in.
right away.
Right.
Yep.
Like Metallica went in before Black Sabbath, if that says anything.
Yeah,
Like, how
right.
the fuck is that possible?
Right.
You know, like the Godfathers of punk metal don't go in like first ballot, you know, like they should, but that's just I don't know. There's so much politics about that shit.
I went out there. I went to Cleveland.
So
Took the
did
kids
I.
out there. It was pretty cool.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
I actually got in for free because I told them that I was in a touring band, and I showed them like our website and stuff, and they let me in to like
See,
walk.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, you know. The first time I went there twice. The first time I was actually playing in Cleveland with my old band, and they asked for a CD. So we always said that if they wanted to crack a window inside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that they would use our CD and just put it in the wedge or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, we got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
They have these big pillars in there, and everyone puts their stickers up there, you know, of the
Yeah,
bands
yeah.
and stuff. And I had the Dave Jamont Loves You stickers, and I left them at the freaking hotel that day. And like
They're all over the place.
Oh my
too.
god! People send me pictures of like Vermont and California, and like someone on a box truck going through DC. They take a picture, they send it to me, and I freaking that day I didn't bring it to the
How
Rock
many
and Roll
years
Hall of Fame.
now has it been?
It's got to be over 20, right?
Yeah, I started doing it at Eggplant Queens. When I started getting pissed off with the other guys in Eggplant Queens, the way that it all started was Eggplant Queens, we would make one-off shirts, and then we'd make another batch of shirts, and we'd all have to agree on it. So one day I show up to practice, and there's a box. I'm like, what is this? They go, the new shirts. I go, nobody told me about the new shirts. And I open it up, and I looked, and I'm like, these shirts suck. They fucking suck. I hated everything about the graphics, the design, everything. I'm like, these are the worst. So I called up my buddy, and I made Dave Jamont shirts. And it said Eggplant Queens Belmore, and it had me spilling beer, and it said 666 in the background. It was from a photo from a juke joint gig that we did, and I had that put on the T-shirts. And at the Eggplant Queens show, we had a table of Eggplant Queens T-shirts for $10 and Dave Jamont T-shirts for $5. And I sold
out
every single one of my T-shirts.
Oh, dude.
So then I was like, so then I started making stickers, and I started handing out stickers. And the first one I made was Dave Jamont has a 3-incher. That was the first one. And then the second one was Dave Jamont likes it when you lick it like a mule. And then I went with the classic Dave Jamont Loves You, which is more kid-friendly and stuff like that.
When we were coming up with the band, it was actually I suggested to you.
Yeah.
Let's call this Dave Jamont Loves You, because he's been doing this for 20 years. There's so much brand equity in that name. It's like, let's do it. Plus, everybody loves Dave. So.
But literally, like Frank was like, "What do you want to call this? Like, do you want to call it like the Dave Jamot Project or the Dave Jamot Experience?" I was like, "Oh, no." And he goes, "Why don't we call it Dave Jamot Loves You?" And I was like, "Perfect. It's already brand. It's already out there, you know.
People know.
You already have merch already.
It'll look good on T-shirts, you know."
You already know how it looks.
Yep.
I actually remember that shirt that you're talking about, the $5 run shirts that you
Yeah,
made
I
that
remember
night
those.
for that show.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
dude.
figure out which eggplant cream shirt was it that he didn't like.
I don't know one. I don't own that one.
Was it the one with the white one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
white with huge graphic.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like it at all.
I remember it. I remember.
know?
It. Yeah. So you guys brought in some looksies, right?
Oh,
What are they called, Dave?
Give a look.
Give a
Hey,
look.
like my dad is.
Give a
Give a
look.
look. Frank, why did you start?
Want me to start?
Yes.
I asked the boys to bring in some
He wouldn't
like
let
a
me
show
see.
and tell.
When I pulled up, he goes,
Oh,
"You got
really?
it back?" He goes, "You can't see this until we go live, dude."
Oh, that's great. I love it.
I actually took them right off my wall as I was leaving because they're framed because this is how much I love these things. So this first one is the Monkees' first album, signed by every single one of the band members.
Oh, sick.
Now the little story is, fellow Belmorite Billy Kelly, who was in my grade, he went on to do like a children's music,
Okay.
and he did a duet with Davy Jones. So he asked me to direct the video for the song. So. Which was amazing.
Haircut? Was it the haircut
Yeah,
song?
me and my brand new haircut from Billy Kelly. Check it out; it's on YouTube.
Wow. That's cool, man.
I got to direct. I actually told Davy Jones what to do, and but he actually plussed it so much. He like improvised a whole bunch of stuff, which was great. So I got him to sign it first. He signed it up here, near Peter Tork. So then, a couple years later, I don't know if you heard of Chilla Theater.
Yeah, I go
Convention. Yeah, I go there every year too.
Yeah.
So Peter and Mickey were at that one. So then I said, "Oh, Peter, Davey took your spot." So he's like, "Well, I'll take Davey's spot." So then they signed it. And then I never thought I'd get Mike Nesmith because he's like the white whale. He's got the white out. His mom invented white out. So
Yeah,
he's got that money. He doesn't really need the Monkees.
He did Chilla, right?
So he did Chilla like a couple years later, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
showed him this. So this was my very first album I ever had.
Wow.
When I was like a little kid, I saw the Monkees on TV, and my mom saw that like I was mesmerized by this. So she actually dug out. This was actually her album. She dug out her old albums, gave this to me. This one and More of the Monkees, which is the second album, and I've been listening to this ever since.
fantastic.
It's never left rotation. This album.
That's amazing.
My favorite album.
And it's a great thing to get,
Yeah.
like, that cover is perfect to get signed because
Yeah.
it's all them on it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, like, you know, that's great, man. Yeah, that's a definitely a frameable thing.
I got a part two. I got a two, but you want to go? You want to do yours?
Well, I can't. That you just won. Well, let me see. I have a couple things in here, so let me. Here we go. This is Robert Plant.
Okay.
From Zeppelin.
I know where the story's going. You definitely topped mine.
Okay, so I worked at WDRE back in the day, and we had a syndicated program that they used to do out of Manhattan.
Yeah, I can put it right in the.
And my boss said, anytime you want to come up and hang out, you can. But I never did. I never went up. And then one day I get a phone call that they're gonna interview Evan Dando from the Lemonheads.
Right.
And they say, just so you know, Dando's hanging out with Plant, so he's gonna bring Plant up to the studio. So I said, could we promote that? Like, could we say that Plant's gonna be there? They were like, absolutely. So I intercom my boss, tell him Plant's gonna be there. I go, I'm coming tonight. I'm gonna go. So I went up there and had a picture taken with him and got the autograph, and that was it. He was social, nice, very cool. But I overheard him say what bar he was going to go to afterwards. So my buddy Andre and I ran out of the building, went to the bar, and we stood next door. 20 minutes later, half hour later, the car pulls up. It's not a limo. It's like just like a Mercury Town Car because it was only like 3 or 4 people. It was like a representative, the record company guy, Dando, and Plant. They pull up, and as they are getting out of the car, I start walking up to the bar. I know the record company guy, and he goes, "Holy shit, Dave, what are you doing here?" I go, "What are you guys doing here?" Come on in. And he put his arm around me, and I walk into the fucking bar with Robert Plant. So now I'm part of the entourage with Plant.
So they get.
We walk right in.
Royalty.
And now I'm sitting next to the bar with Plant, and now we're talking. Like up in the studio, it was fucking bullshit. But I never mentioned Led Zeppelin. I never mentioned Honey. I never mentioned any of that. We talked about Scotch. just scotch. And he was drinking cheap fucking Johnny Walker Red. He wasn't even drinking good stuff. So he orders one and he drinks it and he finishes it. And I look at my buddy. I go, watch this. And he goes to the bartender. He goes, go have another one. And the bartender makes it. And I go, Plant's talking to some girl. And I grab the drink and I fucking chug it. And I put it down. And Plant turns around. He looks at the drink. He goes, could I have another? And the bartender turned around and was like, holy fuck, that was fast. And then I get a tap on the shoulder. And the record company guy goes, dude, don't do that. I go, all right. And then he's like, it's cool, but like, don't do that. I was like, all right.
So you stole a drink.
I stole Plant's freaking Johnny Walker Red.
That's so great.
But it was cool. And Dando was super cool. And, you know, it was just a like once in a lifetime freaking experience. And a pure coincidence was there were two girls in the bar that I knew. And they were like, holy shit, it's Robert Plant with Dave Dramott. And I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, yeah, girls, whatever.
You know what? He probably appreciated that you didn't really talk shop with him about like music or whatever, and kind of got onto his level. I always notice that when you meet somebody like that, like if you talk normal stuff with them, they'd rather talk to you all night rather than like, oh my God, I fucking work. You know,
Right. When I worked at the radio station and like bands used to come up, they used to put them into the office that I worked in because I don't get starstruck. I don't turn into like a fanboy or anything like that. And I just get them drinks or soda and stuff. And I ended up becoming friends with bands that I used to have the posters on the wall, which is like mind blowing. Like, you know, and then I get invited to go to the shows and hang out, go out to dinner and stuff like that. So I got, you know, stories like that just because of being at the radio station and not freaking out when I was around certain people. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, you got some crazy pictures from back in the day, man. That's awesome.
A lot of fun.
So how long did you work there for?
I was there about 4.5 years. I won a contest called King for a Day. And what you did is you sent in a postcard of your favorite bands. And instead of writing your favorite bands, I looked to see what bands were coming to town. And I wrote 3 bands that were playing. And one of the bands was who I actually like. And they picked me out to go be King for a Day at the concert. They sent a limo to pick me and my buddy up. Malibu Sue, the disc jockey, was in the limo. Went out to dinner, got to meet the band and stuff like that. And on the way home, there was no more beer. We ran out of beer. I drink heavily. And I said to Malibu Sue, I go, there's no more beer. And she says, well, I can't ask for it, but you're King for a Day. So I knocked on the divider. They rolled it down. I said, there's no more beer back here. They're like, you really need beer? I go, I'm the king for a day. So they pulled over to a bodega, got the beer. The divider went up. Malibu Sue and I drank the beers. And Sue goes, you should come to the radio station and be an intern. I said, all right. So 2 weeks later, I was there. I had to take a test, a simple test, like music knowledge and shit. I aced the test. It was easy. Started, and I became an intern on her show. And about a week later, she goes, what do you know about data entry? I go, nothing. She goes, well, I told him you did and you're hired. and I had to do the card catalog and put it all onto the computer. So the program director could now direct from the computer, not through the card catalogs like they used to have.
Holy
and that was like my
shit.
first thing that I had to do. And then I had to take every single piece of music that they had and enter it into the computer. It took freaking weeks. And it was easy, like once I figured it out. And then I just started working there. Like Sue always came up, you're going to be the van driver. And then she had a show. She's like, you're going to write my show. You're going to produce my show. And like, she just kept pushing me to do stuff.
And the bands that just rolled in there were like all of the time.
And all the time, bands would roll. Seal came there right when he came out with Crazy was the song. And he was in the room with me, and we were hanging out bullshitting, and he got a brand new camera, and he was trying to figure out how this camera works, and he set it up on self-timer, and he's like, Dave, come here! So, like, somewhere in Seal's photo album, there's a picture of me and him that he took with his camera, you know, so, like, it was shit like that. It was always cool.
That's awesome. Frank, what do you got?
I got one more. Another one off the wall. So bringing it back to Kiss. Gene Simmons.
Dude.
So this is a bootleg signed by Gene Simmons. Story is my sister worked at Court TV, and Gene was coming in to pitch some show, and she's like, if I get a chance to get him to sign something, do you have something you want to sign? So I could have went to any Kiss album, but I was like, I want this to be signed because it's a bootleg. I figured it was gonna be the only one in existence. He looked at it and looked at her and said, this is not official, and so he said, I'll only sign it if you give me a kiss on the cheek. classic
Yeah.
Gene.
Yeah.
So, my sister came through. She kissed him on the cheek, and then here I go. I got this album. So actually, before this podcast, I went online to see if there's any other in existence signed, and there is one. And it's actually owned by Gene. He has like his own auction, like
Yeah,
of course.
thing. So he's selling it for like some astronomical price.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Gene Simmons actually has a thing like the Gene Simmons Experience. It's called the Vault.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
come
yeah.
to your house for $50,000,
Yes.
and like you and 5 of your friends can like basically go through like his archives or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he'll play a couple of songs and try to probably sell you some of his stuff too,
Yeah,
on top of the 50
he'll
grand
sell
that you
you.
have spent.
That's
It's all about money with the
Yeah.
boys. Wow. So what do you got, Dave?
Well, nothing compared to that stuff. But I brought this because it just looks so freaking cool. It's Devo picture disc of the Spaceman, Beautiful World, and Devo's one of my all-time favorite bands, and I just love the way this looks.
Is that a record?
It's a record.
No. Is it record day or is
No,
it
no. This
This
came
back
out
when?
in like 81. It was released in
wow.
81. So
like the picture discs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
picture disc was like the thing to
that
get
was the
when
thing
you were-
back there,
yeah.
So
I have like the from back in the day, the Helter Skelter picture disc.
I got that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So-
cool, right?
I brought this in, and then actually on the way out of the house when I brought this was laying on top of my stereo, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I should bring the freaking Robert Plant thing.
Yeah.
But this is just, I love picture discs.
Yeah, that
I
looks cool,
definitely
man.
don't have enough. I got a pretty cool vinyl collection, so that's that.
Awesome. You have anything else?
Nothing like that. I got well, I got the Old Dirty Bastard welfare
Oh,
card.
nice, dude.
So it's that spins and you play the record with that. That was that.
Speaking of Wu-Tang, I have my eyes on the sneaker. They just released it again, and it got sold out within like 5 minutes. But now it's like on eBay for like, it's between like 200 and 250. But I feel like after Christmas, it'll drop.
And then the last thing is the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour. I think this is the way they originally released it
Wow.
in England. They didn't do an album. They did a
Book?
book. You get the whole book
That's cool.
of everything, and then
Wow, it's in good shape too,
the
bro.
actual, it's a 45. There's like a few songs on each side. It's just the coolest thing that when I came across it, I was like, holy crap. I had no idea. Like I had no idea that it came out this way. So that's it. That's my little Beatles thing.
Look-see.
Little that's my give a look. That's
Give
my
a look.
And it's so crazy because when I was a kid, I was a huge John Lennon fan, like crazy John Lennon fan. And now that I'm older, I really like George Harrison. Like I've been listening to him a lot. But my favorite Beatles is Yoko.
That's mostly everyone's pick, too.
I saw coming back from New Paltz in the 90s, and I found out that Yoko was playing at Irving Plaza, so I pulled off to go see it, and it's exactly what you think it's going to be. It was a fucking shit show. And as I was leaving, some guy took his all access pass and stuck it on the garbage can. So I grabbed it and I slapped it on my leg and I turned around and walked back in. Security goes, all exits to final. I point to the pass. I go, I left my jacket backstage. He goes, oh, come right in. So in I go, right upstairs. I go right into the fucking dressing room. I go right to the sandwich area. I grab a sandwich. That's how I do it anytime I'm back there.
It's like you belong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get a sandwich and a beer. I sat down. I'm eating the sandwich, drinking a beer. I'm talking to the people next to me. Sean Lennon was there. I spoke to him a little bit, and he was very, very cool. I actually had a couple of interactions with him. He's always been cool. You couldn't get near Yoko. She was like in the next room. But when they were walking around with the security guard, she was like 3 feet away from me. And I just went, Yoko, what an incredible night. I had so much fun. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. So it was cool. So when I was a kid, after John Lennon died, I wrote Yoko a letter. And I sent it to Geffen Records, the back of Double Fantasy. And I was like 13 years old. Just so you know, I think about John Lennon every day, and I miss him, and I know that it must be hard, blah, blah, blah. And I mailed it. 3 years later, I got a letter back in the mail from New York City. I'm 16 and a punk rocker now. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I open it up. It's a letter from Yoko Ono. Dear Dave, thank you so much for the kind words. And then she signed a picture. To Dave, love Yoko and Sean, New York City, 1984. So
Wow.
I got that framed with the backstage pass and the ticket stub
Perfect.
matted, and I have it hanging up.
Yeah, dude, that's a great story, man. That's so cool. I want to actually show the video. This is a video that was released for the first single off of I Love Dave Jamott, and it is called Boom Boom Boom.
Billy from the bandbox, the bartender, Jimmy Spillane.
All right, that was the video for Boom Boom Boom, and we have a legendary stop. We were just discussing it when the video was on. The All-American Burger in Massapequa Park. Yeah. Well, Massapequa, right? Massapequa, yeah. That's a staple. I mean, if you've never tried it, you have to. Tony and I were saying it before the boys came in here because I was showing them the video. I want it tonight. Like I feel like I have to go there.
Did you see, Born on the 4th of July, the Tom Cruise movie?
Yes.
Okay, like they didn't actually use All American. They made like their own.
But
thing.
it was really
That's
All
what
American.
it was. Yeah, they're really talking about All American.
Well, Fast Times, you worked at All American Burger. But that's California. I guess it's a name. Yeah.
Mister, if you don't shut up, I'm going to kick 100% of your ass.
That came about when Dave came by to record the vocals. He's like, I got an idea for a video. I'm going to dress like Pinocchio. That was the end of the idea. It's like, all right. So I was like, I got an idea. So
and then when it started coming that we were actually going to do it, I said, I need real fucking lederhosen. So I went right back to Belmore. I called up the Oak Chalet German restaurant. Got one of the waiters on the horn, this guy, Derek Farrell. And I said, hey, Derek, I need to borrow your lederhosen. And he said to me, he goes, if anybody else was to call me out of the blue and ask for lederhosen, I would think that there was something fucking wacky about it. But when Dave Jamad asked to borrow lederhosen, you just let him borrow the lederhosen. You just let him take
So those
it.
were his.
Those were his.
Wow. And you're giving a shout out to the Oak Chalet.
Oak Chalet's the best.
Still going.
The best, still going.
Still going strong.
of course.
How many years has that been open?
That's been
As
open
long as
since
I've been-
'81.
Yeah?
It used to be Sunrise Village, where Genovese was in the King Cullen parking lot on Sunrise.
Yeah.
There used to be a beer hall called Sunrise Village. It was like a beer garden from like the '40s. It was there, and maybe even longer ago. And then like when they knocked down those buildings to put up the supermarket and stuff like that, they moved over there, and that was an empty lot. There was like an abandoned house there, and they bought that property and did the Oak Chalet.
Wow. That's awesome that they could still,
They used to call me the kid. I had never, like, my grandmother's German, and I never wanted any of that food. And back, in the 90s, I was sitting at one of my friend's houses across the street, and I was starving. I'm looking like, oh, there's a restaurant there. Let me run across there and get something to eat. So I went in, looked at the menu. I didn't know what frikadelle was. I didn't know what Jaeger Schnitzel was. So I got a steak. It was probably the best steak I had ever had in my life at that moment. And I started going in, and then the old ladies there started explaining the other side of the menu.
Right.
And they would call me the kid because everybody else is a geriatric that's in the place. Now I'm the freaking geriatric in the place. I still go there,
Right.
years later.
Oh, wow. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know the last time I was in there, but it was great, and it's cool just that
I had been going
Still
there
there.
for a number of years, and then one time I went in there with my parents, and they were like, wait, the kid is Herb's son? Harmonica Herb? This is your son? Like, they knew my parents for years because my parents always went there, and they didn't realize that we were family. They didn't realize that at all.
we're talking about staples of Long Island. I actually went to a staple of Long Island last night. I went to Borelli's.
Oh, shit.
I haven't been there in a long time. I was visiting somebody in the hospital, and I wanted a chicken parm, but I'm like, if I go to the regular place that I do, I'm gonna get a hero, and I'm like, it's good, it's like a pizza place, not like this in the pizza place or anything, but they're gonna charge me almost virtually the same thing as if I get a chicken parm from like Borelli's if I take it out. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I ordered it. I got a chicken parm dinner, and they gave me a side of pasta. It's fucking delicious. I haven't been there in so long, but it was depressing. Like, I went there. Not many people are in that
Yeah.
parking lot.
I went there a couple years ago after like one of my daughter's dance recitals or something like that. We took the family there, and it was great. But the same thing, there was nobody in the
Yeah,
place.
man. Like, I remember back in the day, Borelli's was like
That was
hopping.
the spot. Especially like with the Islander games and stuff like that, people would go eat there and then go across to the Coliseum.
What are they going to do with that Coliseum? I feel like, it's such... They put the money into, like, remodeling it and everything, and, like, now it's just sitting there for its occasional concert here
once
and
in a
there.
while, yeah.
It's weird.
It can't be making any money at all,
No, right? They should... I know that they wanted to add the casino near there.
But what are they gonna do? Put the casino in the building or like build it? I don't know what they want to do.
Like, they said they were going to, like, make it, like, part of the whole complex or whatever, but I guess that takes away from parking. And now you're going to force me to really park in the Marriott like I should be,
right.
instead of the $75 it costs to park in the parking lot. But, it's crazy. I used to love going to the Coliseum to see everything, but now it's just
my first concert ever was Twisted Sister at Adventureland in
wow.
1979.
You were that one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Twisted Sister.
That's when they like closed down,
they went down 110.
Yeah.
Death to Disco and everything like
Yeah,
that. They
yeah.
was going up the street. I was 10 years old. My brother's 10 years older than me. He took me.
So that was, you said 79?
79. That was my first concert. My second concert, Twisted Sister at the Calderone, New Year's Eve. 79 going into 80. But my first concert with just my friends, like those were with my brother, was at the Coliseum. It was Squeeze, their farewell tour. They did 2 nights. They had the Stray Cats open one night. I didn't go to that one. I went to the night that REM was the opening act.
Wow.
And the English Beat went on, and then Squeeze. And I remember I was standing in the crowd. It was $10. General admission, no floor seats. You go wherever you want.
General admission, they're all
General
building.
admission, no floor seats, standing room only on the floor.
Wow.
$10.
Talk about paradise.
And I'm sitting there, and REM are playing, and somebody goes, "What band is this?" And I go, "I think they're called the REM." And this girl next to me goes, condescending, she goes, "No, it's REM." I go, "Oh, sorry, guys, it's REM." And they were great. They I went out the next day and got their EP, had a Boxcar Journey on it, Carnival of Sorts. It was.
It was before Document.
Oh yeah, way before. This is 82. This is 82. So that record it probably came out 81 or 82. And what I remember about that concert was, there was a girl standing next to me with one of those leather wine sacks, and she I bumped into her, and it spilt, and she was like, "You fucking asshole!" And I grabbed it and started chugging.
Your drinks are not safe with Dave Brown.
No, that's it. And then I remember the girl said that I was cute, and she pinched my cheeks, and she's like, "What school do you go to?" And I go, "I go to Jerusalem," and she was like, "The junior high school?" I go, "Yeah." She's like, "Bye," and she left. So
Your first concert is better than mine. I saw. Actually, I don't know if it was better. I saw Shana Na at the Westbury.
That's
Music
incredible.
My
That
parents
is
took me
incredible.
to that. But my first one with friends, so that was pretty cool. It was Bad Brains, Circle Jerks, double bill at the 1018 Club, 1987.
Holy shit.
That was a
Wow.
crazy
That's
show.
killer,
And you
man.
mentioned Sick of It All.
Yeah.
They were one of the opening bands.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and actually,
fantastic.
Vernon Reed's Living Color was also one of the opening bands. Before Cult of
yeah.
Personality, they were billed as Vernon Reed's Living Color.
Wow.
So that was it's a pretty crazy show.
Wow, that's
Bad
awesome,
Brains
man.
Vernon Reed was one of the guys that came up to the station, was super cool, smoking weed in the office and everything, and just totally cool and really chill.
I met him and I met Corey from Living Color. They were both very cool.
Corey was at, I work at a place called 89 North out in Patchogue, and Corey was there, and he played a couple songs, a couple Living Color songs, and then he also played a Prince. He played a Prince song, Purple Rain, I think he did.
How was that?
It was fucking killer, man.
Yeah?
It was really good. It was like some benefit show, to raise money for some, I don't know, some cause out there. And normally I work in Amityville at the warehouse, but this, I got sent out there to work, and he was super cool. I didn't realize he's not tall.
No, he's short.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
I saw them open up for the Stones
Oh,
at
yeah, right.
Steel Wheels at Shea in '89.
Actually, I went to that one also. Yeah.
Wearing the body glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Cult of Personality.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
when they took
That
off
was when
with
they first
that.
came out
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, that's how they got to open for the Stones.
Yeah.
My first show, I always say it was Motley Crue at Nassau Coliseum with Warrant for the Dr. Feelgood tour, but technically it was Cher with the Heart of Stone tour.
Wow.
And all I have to say is that she had I think 8 to 9 wardrobe changes throughout. It was the first diva show that I ever saw.
Wow.
And she
probably great.
killed, man. She was
I
really
bet.
awesome. That's when she did the seatbelt shit. She was wearing If I Could Turn Back Time with the seatbelt thing.
yeah.
Fucking hot, dude.
Yeah.
She did that. She did Just Like Jesse James.
I had
Gypsy Tramps
I
and
bought
Thieves.
tickets to see her at the Coliseum. I still had the ticket, and she canceled.
Really?
Pat Benatar was going to open, so it was going to be two acts that I never saw.
Two birds with one stone.
and then
man.
they canceled it, so I never.
Oh, what a
never saw
shame.
her.
Recently?
Within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because
no,
she's still on her farewell tour that's been forever.
You said Westbury Music Fair.
Yeah.
I saw Howdy Doody
Really?
in 1976
Whoa.
at a birthday party
Whoa.
for this kid Randy up the block from me, and that's where his parents took us to see the Howdy Doody show in 1976 at Westbury Music Fair.
That's a great venue to see. We were talking about Westbury last week, and the one show that I always remember for that is I saw George Carlin there.
I saw Carlin there too, man.
Dude, and it was he was so fucking close, and he's talking and he's walking, and I'm he's basically 10 feet in front of me.
Yep.
And he's staring at me. I'm holy shit. I'm this fucking George Carlin standing
I
in
saw
front of me.
Cheech and Chong there.
I saw you at that show.
Yep.
Yeah, when they did the reunion for Up
Yeah.
in Smoke or whatever.
Yep.
That was cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. They're supposedly making a new movie. Cheech and Chong.
Really?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. They did Still Smoking, right? I think it's called Forever Smoking.
Gotcha.
So I just met Tommy Chong at Chilla
It
Theater.
was that Trilla, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't wait on the line, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't wait on his. I did the photo op. I didn't because I have Up in Smoke signed by them. I ended up finding that like on the market or whatever. But,
I was there to see Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
oh, okay.
Croft. I love the Croft, Sid and Marty Croft. All those.
I always see that you guys are always going to that, and I never gone to one, but I always wanted to. But my daughter a couple years ago asked to go to Comic-Con.
Okay.
And the only person she wanted to meet was
Pee-wee, right?
Herman, yeah.
Yeah. I remember
and
your picture.
He was so cool to her.
Yeah.
Like when we got there, like we signed up for the photo, and when we got to him, she was wearing a Replacements T-shirt. And he goes, "Do you like the Replacements? That's a really cool band. They're one of my favorites." And she goes, "My dad got me the T-shirt." And like he just started talking to her. He's like, "What grade are you in?" And she said, "Whatever. I'm in whatever." And he goes, "What? How's it going?" And she was like, "Well, my locker doesn't work." and and he got into a full conversation about like when he was in school and like really engaged with her and like where the handler like tapped him like, "Let's go," and he went like this. And he just kept talking to her and talking to me.
Sweet guy, man.
Actually,
Just so
speaking of
cool.
Cheech and Chong, Pee Wee got his start with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in
Hamburger!
He was in a couple of them movies.
Yeah.
He was in that. He was
Yep.
that was Nice Dreams. He was also
Next
in
movie?
Next
Yep.
movie. Yeah.
He played the concierge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was also in the. Oh, he was.
Yeah,
in
he's the
Blues
waiter.
Brothers,
He's
right.
He's the
He was
waiter.
waiter,
Yep.
yeah.
He's the waiter.
And wasn't
Paul
he
Rubens.
also in the stand-up part when he's playing in the club and
Well, but that's part of the
of next movie,
next
right?
movie. Yeah.
Where he gets like he puts like ain't that a peach?
Yep,
And
yep.
he gets his dick crushed. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, we have another show coming up. So
Soon.
oh, okay. All right.
Time flies.
So where can we find this this album? It's on streaming all over the place,
Everywhere
right?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Bandcamp. I'm actually gonna press it on vinyl. Frank and I have to just figure out like graphics and stuff and what we want to do. And I'm gonna press it on vinyl. I don't know how long it will take to turn around. Some people are hoping to have it by Christmas. I don't think that's gonna
too
happen.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, usually it takes like about 2 months
Yeah. So
for you to get it back.
So like I think I'll press like 100 copies just to get them out there and see what happens.
I'm in, dude. You got to let me know.
Absolutely. People have been asking, and I love vinyl, so.
Well, you think I was asking this before, and I kind of wanted to save it for the show, but do you think that possibly we'll be able to see this as a live experience?
It's one of the things is that Frank played 3 of the instruments in studio, so we can't do that. And
Yeah, it's multi-layered and stuff. We would have to find people to fill out the band. I live in Jersey. I have a full-time job.
right,
He
works days. I work full-time nights.
Yeah, so it's just the logistics.
I work around a lot of musicians, and they've actually offered their services. They're like, "Well, I could play bass," and some other guys like, "I'll do the keys," and I'm like, "Thanks," but like. You live in Patchogue and you live in so the logistics of actually getting it to happen
Tough, man.
is hard. I would love to, but it's a lot to try to pull it off.
We've all been there, done that. It's easier for a singer, first of all.
That's why I sang.
Just
That's
to
why-
roll right
show
up, right?
Just get to the mic. I got to lug all the crap.
Yeah, no, my drummer hates me because of that. Like I play bass, but like usually they have like the stack waiting for me there and like the head, whatever. Only
you're
like
lucky.
a couple of times they're like, oh, you got to bring your own head, but he's like, yeah, you just got to show up, dude. I got to set up all the shit.
When I was a singer in Rap Bastards, like it was great because I could show up at the last possible moment, and then I could leave as soon as the show was over, and then we switched bass players. And we got Dave DeLuca, who didn't have a driver's license, so I had to start driving him around. And he had the biggest fucking bass fucking kit rack, whatever the fuck it was. Like it took up the whole back seat. Sometimes you couldn't close the doors. It weighed 1,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah,
we would
dude.
carry it to like under Acme, like down the stairs and shit.
Oh God!
And then my freedom was taken to me. Dave DeLuca took my freedom away.
Yeah, dude, that's a nightmare. The bass stuff is heavy once you got to start carrying it, bro. Especially those the actual like speaker itself. I remember I used to have a what was it, like the 412s or 410 or something, and it was fucking like, I don't even know, dude, like 150 pounds, but like awkward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just not good.
Yeah, I think the touring days are gone.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like with my band and stuff, I see like a lot of out of state shows have been much more favorable for us, just because of like the current like situation, like with original music on the island. Caters really to like all the tribute bands and stuff.
Yeah.
You see it day and
that's
day,
my
man.
business.
That's it. Yeah,
All
man.
cover bands, tribute bands, and people don't have an ear to like to listen to anything. that
Dude,
they
I
don't
see
know.
your videos that you post, bro, and like fucking the other day you posted. It was on a Sunday, I think. It was
John
the
versus
Beatles.
Paul, yeah,
Dude, it was
John versus
packed,
Paul.
right?
Fucking sold out, packed. Fucking teetotals. I didn't make a nickel.
Really?
Yeah, fucking, 2-drink minimum at all the tables and stuff. They're having freaking seltzer. No, at the bar, no one's, nobody drank.
It was during the day?
Yeah, well, that's why people were saying it was it started at noon.
Wow.
So they played for 4 hours. The band, they were great. The band was phenomenal.
And I see the Dead, like that Dead band always draws too, man. Right?
I never really got into the Dead, and then I became friends with these people that are in there's a Half Step, which is like the #1 drawing Dead tribute, and they're so good that like I started actually appreciating the music.
Yeah.
And then there's Tiger Rose, which are a Jerry Garcia tribute band.
I've seen them before.
So it's more.
It's actually the same.
It's Tommy Sanfilippo's in both bands, and Cindy
yeah,
Lopez.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, Cindy Lopez and Tommy Sanfilippo, two excellent, super cool people, are in both bands. But like I never really got into the Dead. What happened with the Dead is I was like, I'll go to 1,000 concerts, and back in the '90s, my friends were like, "You never saw the Dead? Let's go see the Dead." And I said, "I don't know, man." They're like, "You gotta go." So they called me on a Monday. We drove up to Boston, got a hotel room. There was 6 of us. The next day, we went over by the Garden. We didn't have tickets. We scalped tickets, and then we went in and we saw the show. And it was the build up to the show, and walking around was like the real experience. And then somebody gave us a flyer that you could camp in a state park. So we ended up camping out there for more than a day. And like the joke is that one night I saw the Grateful Dead for 3 days, and like we were banged up and everything like that.
Yeah, sure.
But the people that I took, 2 of them, a month later I took them to see Nirvana, and then within a year Kurt was dead and Jerry was dead. And if it wasn't for them, I would never have seen Jerry Garcia. And if it wasn't for me, they would never have seen Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Is that when they played the New York Coliseum?
The Coliseum, worst fucking venue ever.
Yeah, dude. You know what? I got real fucking like, man, I was supposed to go to that show, but I got suspended from high school. I told off my teacher, and my parents never grounded me, but they grounded me that night, and they wouldn't let me go. And, he died shortly thereafter. And I just remember telling them, I'm like, you can never not let me go to another show. I'm
Right,
like, please. I'm like, that sucks.
That's happened with a couple of things. Like, then I'm like, oh, I'll see them next time, and I say that like over and over. That I miss Tom Petty because I said I'll see him next time. I miss.
You didn't
I
think
miss
that he
Rush.
was going to die.
No, and I miss Rush because I kept saying next time. I miss fucking Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
right.
and
You actually asked me if I wanted to
I
go.
asked
but
him
it
if
was
he wanted to go.
It was
in
Connecticut.
and I was getting ready to go, and my wife, like, I love her so much, but she was just like, and she loves me. She was like, "Do you really have to go to this concert? I just really want to hang out with you. You work so much. We don't really get enough time to hang out." And I was like, "You know what? I don't have a ticket yet. I was gonna go there and see what happens.
Yeah,
let's
it's a shame. That would've been
let's
good.
just hang out." So my wife and I hung out and had a great night. And then within a few months, like,
Died.
he died. She said not to blame her.
Yeah, I got to see Jerry with Grateful Dead at Nassau Coliseum, bringing it back to that. That was a great show.
I never saw the Dead with
94
him.
Maybe? Yeah.
I only saw like the leftovers and the other ones and whatever names.
I
that
had
they-
I had tickets for Jerry Lewis at Westbury
Wow.
Music Fair, and then he died.
Oh,
And that was like,
he was a different person then.
yeah, but still, like, just to see him,
Yeah,
And then in
yeah.
hindsight, like, there were so many acts that came through Westbury that like were staples on 70s variety shows that were
Right.
playing there in the 80s and 90s that I could have easily have seen, and I just didn't go.
Yeah.
Like freaking Charo,
Yeah.
Tony Orlando, like just like,
Charo is an amazing guitarist.
That's
People only know her for the
Yeah,
coochie coochie.
yeah.
But man, she could shred.
Really?
Yeah, like that flamenco type of thing.
Oh
Like,
wow,
That's her
fingers
thing, yeah.
going nuts. Like, yeah, she's
That's hot.
really good. Yeah, it is.
love her.
You know what? For me, I let Ronnie Spector get away, man. Like I always wanted to see her, and it was always next time. She always comes around for Christmas.
Christmas shows,
And
yeah.
fuck, man, the last time she was playing at Staten Island at the St. George Theater, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. No one wants to go. I'm going myself. And I passed up on it, and sure as shit, 2 months later, she's dead.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's just like one of those things. And Bob Seger. I always wanted to see him, but I never got to see him. But, yeah, so kiddies, word to the wise. If there's a show and you can do it,
Even
go.
by yourself, go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Go by yourself.
I
Like,
love
you
going
know,
to shows by myself.
I do it all the
when
time.
when Frank and I saw Beck, we saw it by ourselves.
Yeah.
And you didn't,
I was like, see ya.
See you later. I'll be over here. He was going to be over there.
yeah, because you never know what you're gonna get into. Like, you know, you walk around, you're personable anyway. So I mean, like for me, I know like I could fucking always attract someone to talk to, and if I don't want to talk to nobody, I just go and watch
Right.
the show. You know. But yeah, absolutely, I don't mind going. I'm going to body count myself in 2 weeks.
I saw. I took a class at Nassau Community College called Origins of Rock and Roll, and it was a requirement that you had to see 3 concerts and write a review. But they had to be 3 different types of rock music. So Ministry were playing at a place called Spies, which was turned into
I remember
Crazy
that.
Donkey.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy from the class he said, "I'll meet you in the parking lot." But this is before cell phones and shit, and the guy never showed up. So I went into the concert by myself, and I was like, "This is excellent." I could go where if I have to pee, I could go, come back. Don't have to
Right.
fight through the crowd. I don't have to try to meet people. If I want to get a drink, I don't like the angle. I can go over here. And then I just started going to concerts by myself. Then the next concert I went to was Ozzy at the Coliseum, and I went by myself. Anthrax was the opening act.
Sick.
You know the knot, like the Anthrax knot,
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah.
So like somebody puts that mask on and was running through the crowd and high fiving. So guy ran past me, high fived. He runs on stage, takes the mask off. It's fucking Ozzy.
Really?
Fucking
Wow.
Ozzy. This is when Ozzy can move.
Yeah.
Fucking high five me. You know, and
Yeah, Ozzy's not doing that now.
we thought it was like a rodeo or something, like, you know, and the kid runs on stage, takes it off. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, it's Ozzy."
Speaking of body count, have you heard Comfortably Numb?
So good, right?
It's amazing. And Gilmore's on it, right?
Yeah, he is. He
it's
plays
pretty
with him.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good version.
The new album is
Comfortably
good,
Numb.
man. You know, like I have a funny story about Body Count. So Body Count is the only band that my father actually told me that I was not allowed to listen to, and it's because of Cop Killer. He's like, "No, I'm not supporting that shit. Whatever. You're not buying the album. Buy this, something else, or whatever." Now, fast forward, I ended up buying it myself probably about a month later or whatever, and like hit it. But now, fast forward about 20 years later, I go over for dinner from my parents' house, and I walk in, my mom is in the kitchen, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Where's Dad?" "Oh, he's in his room watching TV. Why don't you go get him for dinner?" So I go in there, and I'm like, "Hey, Pop, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm watching TV. I'm watching my show." And I look, and it's fucking Law and Order, and I'm like, Ice-T's on the screen, and I'm like, "Oh, this is your show, right? You like this show? Yeah. You like that guy right there?" He's like, "Yeah, he's pretty good." And I'm like, "Ain't that a bitch?" I'm like, "I couldn't buy his album, but you could watch his fucking show." And that was it. Like, he was like, "You don't know shit, boy. Let's go eat or whatever." But yeah, it's crazy how like Ice-T, Ice Cube, all these guys, Snoop Dogg, they become like, you know, so mainstream.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited. Like I did like the whole meet and greet and stuff, so I'm gonna meet Ice-T. Hopefully he'll I still have my Body Count cassette with Cop Killer, so hopefully I can get it signed.
When he was at that Lollapalooza, he was walking through the crowd, and just with no security, just walking through with his boys.
Yeah.
And you know, yo, Ice, yo, T, what's up? And you know, got a handshake as he walked by.
Those early Lollapaloozas were fun.
Oh, those
Great
lineups,
shows.
man, you can't beat them.
Yeah, I went to the first one twice.
Yeah, Waterloo.
Yeah,
that was great.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one. I went to the first one I went to was when Eddie Vedder jumped in the water at
it's
the
second
beach,
one.
right?
Yeah. Didn't that get cold because of rain?
Yeah, it got like.
I went to Scranton to see that one. Went to Pennsylvania to see that one. I had to work the day that it was at Jones Beach.
Was that one? That was at
That
two
was
or
two.
three?
That was two. Wasn't that two? Chili Peppers, Jesus Mary Chain, Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
Well, it was Ice-T. It wasn't Body Count, right?
No, Ice-T was at the first one.
Ice Cube. Then.
Ice Cube was at the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember
Randall's
after
Island
that.
was
Then
the-
Randall's Island. It
Those
started
were
like
good. So
I saw
Tibetan Freedom concert was there too.
the Tibet Freedom concert was great.
I saw the Beastie Boys Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I was there.
I was
went to
going
see that.
Smashing Pumpkins. I think Beck was on that one too.
I think so.
Like early Beck. Actually, that was probably one of the best shows I ever saw. First, when Beck first got on the scene, he opened for Evel Knievel, and you were there.
I got to meet Evel Knievel, yeah.
Which was
Evel
insane.
Knievel did like a stunt.
So, all right, well, no. So what happens? Beck comes out first. Before he plays his first, nobody really knows who he is. Loser just came out. Before he plays his first note, he starts smashing his guitar, and while his band's doing like a free-form noise thing, and then he comes and he plays the songs. Beck finishes. A screen comes down and they start playing all these Evel Knievel, like it crashes and stuff. And then Evel comes out, stands up at the podium. He's wearing a red, white, and blue leather, suit with cape and his cane, and he just talks. He took questions from people.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So
Wow,
Evel
that's
Knievel came
awesome.
up to the radio station to promote it. So they put him in my office.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and he was a broken man. He came in
Yeah,
with a
was.
cane, and he's limping. But he came in with this 6'3" Amazon beautiful woman, gorgeous, like just
She carried him in.
That's gorgeous. And the two of them, and it was me and them, like just the three of us, like for a while before, he got prepped with what he was going to do, and he was just so humble and so cool, and I didn't ask him for an autograph or anything. I just got a picture taken with him. Just sitting there,
That's awesome. I
and
mean,
he
think
was
the
super
closest
cool.
thing to like what I got for Evel Knievel is Johnny Knoxville. Right? I mean, like he
Right.
did like the stunts, but nothing like. There's only one Evel Knievel, bro.
I just
mean,
gave you an Evel Knievel original doll, like as a,
Oh,
as a thank you.
the thing that-
I don't have the motorcycle or the thing.
But I have it. It's now I got two.
I sent him a care pack. I sent Frank a care package to say thank you for putting this Dave Jamont Loves You together.
Yeah.
And it was the Up Your Nose with the Rubber Hose game, the Welcome Back Carter board game, the Planet of the Apes
Dave
board
knows
game.
me.
Planet of the Apes board game. A magazine called Dynamite, and on the cover is What's Happening.
What's
Happening? It's the
yeah.
three guys from
Yeah.
What's Happening, Raj and Rerun.
You probably could get that
Dwayne.
signed at Chiller. They have. There's there
Raj
sometimes.
was there a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Did one of them pass away recently?
Rerun's
Rerun.
gone,
Well, no,
and
that was a
Shirley
while ago.
Temple and Shirley Hemp.
Yeah.
She
is
passed
gone.
away
But
too.
good
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
He just passed away.
John Amos.
Yeah, John Amos. He was also at a Chiller.
He died, and like 2 months later, they announced that he died.
Yeah.
He had like something going on with his family or whatever. But yeah, man,
He was
like it's
great.
crazy, man. Like I've been going to these conventions for so long, and you start seeing all these people, like just randomly going, man. It's like time waits for no man, But all right, I just wanted to plug some things, guys. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you for having us.
Make sure you check out I Love Dave Jamont. Like they said,
Dave
it's on
Jamont Loves You.
Dave Jamont Loves You. That's right.
You can love Dave Jamont, but Dave Jamont Loves You. Is
You
the
can
name
love
of the,
Dave Jamont all you want.
is the
Make
name
sure
of the
you
project.
make sure you Google it right. I'd like to thank our sponsor at Primal Scream, Mr. Beery's. There's always a fun thing going on at Mr. Beery's. Monday nights, Monday-oki. Tuesday night is vinyl night. You bring a vinyl and they play either side A or side B. And if they like you, probably both.
That's pretty cool.
Thanksgiving Eve. Usually it's Let It Bleed Wednesdays, but because it's Thanksgiving week, they're having a special show. Thanksgiving Eve, Dirty Sneakers, and usually on Thursday this week it's closed, but they usually have open mic. But I'm sure Mr. Beery's never closes, so I'm sure this week that's where the real party is. We'll see who's in Thanksgiving, at the bar. So maybe go check it out. That might be an interesting open mic. Friday night, Dinosaurs in Vietnam annual benefit show. Also, at another spot in Katie's in Smithtown, Demon Scar drummer Jared is playing in his side project, Black Circle Project. So check that out. And then on Saturday night, Solaris is going to be at Mr. Beery's. Demon Scar has some things coming up. Next week on the 3rd, we're releasing our full-length album, The Same Old Show. I got a picture of that, I think, Tony.
Well, you gave it to me last week. I didn't know you.
Oh, don't worry about it. You know what? You can plug the show. I'm playing.
Okay.
On the 20th, Demon Scar is returning to our home, Mr. Beery's, for a seasonal show. It's going to be with Steven and Not Steves and Sharp Violet, and I'm sure a bunch of other people are going to be jumping on that. Well, I had a great Monday. Usually this is on Thursday nights, but this week for Thanksgiving, if any advice I could give you, just take a look around that table, because you never know how life turns out, and you never know how that's going to change. So I hope you enjoy your families. Make sure you have all the trimmings and all the fun stuff. Make sure you watch March of the Wooden Soldiers during the day, and then that's always a staple. And it used to be King Kong, too.
That's still in my house. I got all the DVDs, so we still watch those.
Kong, Mighty Joe Young, and Wooden Soldiers.
Son of Kong.
Yep.
And Son of Kong.
Son
Can't
of Kong.
forget Son.
Yes.
And then also, if you want Planes, Trains, and Automobiles before Thursday, if you want to check that out, that's always a good staple for Thanksgiving. But kiddies, I had so much fun. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for coming down. And as always, thank you, Tony. Me love you long time. Again, I am Nick Graystone, and you're not. See you later.
Thank you for listening to Primal Scream. I'm Nick Graystone, a.k.a. The Nizza. Each week, Primal Scream is produced by Tony Walker and executive produced by Demon Scar. Always remember, nobody writes your story but you. Later.